I'm excited to be here today to talk about the astrological influences of 2021. 2020 has been quite a ride, and I think maybe the starting point might be, what went on last year? Why was it such a huge year, with this pandemic and politically? If we look back to last year, Saturn was completing its 2.5 year journey through Capricorn, and Jupiter was completing its 1 year journey through Capricorn. And they had been joined all year with Pluto, the wrecking ball of the zodiac, who is looking to, like Pele energy, it's about death and renewal. And so Saturn is a limiting factor, Jupiter is an expansion factor. And with all three of those planets being in Capricorn, this old goat who is kind of into the old authority and ways of power and money and, society and rules, particularly authority. We watched a lot go down last year between the Black Lives Matter movement, between, everything that happened with the police and authority figures. Pluto has been in that sign since 2008, and in 2022, February 20th of 2022, the United States will have what's called its Pluto return. And many of you may, be aware of that, what a Saturn return is every 29 years or so. But a Pluto return that happens once every 284 years is upon the United States as a rebirth of the nation. And that's a year away. And then in 2023, Pluto, after, almost 20 years, will finally go into Aquarius, where we have so many planets currently. And so, here we are in the new year, and the sun is in Aquarius, and Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius. Venus just went into Aquarius yesterday. Jupiter will be in Aquarius almost all year. Saturn will be in Aquarius for the next 2.5 years. So we really need to learn about what Aquarius energy is. And this is a visionary sign. This is an air quality sign. So after this heavy Capricorn Earth time of really, kind of chop wood, carry water, we're moving into this air quality sign. And many of you may have heard of, that on winter solstice, when Jupiter and Saturn met up at 0 degrees in Aquarius, there was a new 200-year cycle, air cycle, where these two planets will meet up in air signs for the next 200 years. So this is changing the nature of the elemental, environment from an earth time, which is kind of like, where's our stuff and how much money do we have? And, physically what's going on in our world, into a time period where we're looking at communication, relationships, ideas, and the future. And this is a visionary time. Aquarius is a visionary sign that has to do with, the future and humanity and brotherhood and sisterhood and friendships. And so how do we step into this collective energy field where so many planets are in Aquarius right now? So I'm going to start by just sharing my Aquarius card from my Vesta Mystery School. And this idea of looking at astrology not as good or bad, but just as an archetype of energy. So Aquarius says, I'm a unique individual with original ideas. I see things from a broad perspective. And at best, I see the whole picture. It knows how to have a bird's eye view. I come up with innovative solutions which serve humanity. I stir up humor. Aquarius, some of my best friends are Aquarius, and oh my gosh, they make me laugh. They are funny people. And we value friendships. We build friendships during Aquarius season, which we're in right now, until, the sun will move into Pisces on February 18th. So I'm communicative with my original ideas. I'm experimental and scientific. I'm part of my community, and I require a lot of freedom. So I love my weirdness. Get your weird on, people. And I help others to embrace theirs. So how are we different? And how is that just light? The air quality is light. We're talking feathers here. We're talking no right and wrong. None of this self-righteous kind of what is the absolute truth. Let's just allow ourselves to differentiate, to be unique. So what happens when Aquarius, which is the water bear, sometimes people think Aquarius is a water sign, but it's an air sign because of its symbol, the water bear. It's pouring the living waters down, and it is the 11th sign of the zodiac. It comes after Capricorn, which is all about we must build something that serves society. And then Aquarius comes along and says, I don't like your rules. I don't like all the structures you built. I'm going to pour some living waters down upon the earth to bring life back to the people. And so here we are in this new era, this new administration, and we're hopeful, many of us. So when stressed, what happens with Aquarius? Aquarius can become detached and aloof. This whole broad perspective is very unemotional in many ways. Aquariuses can think in abstract ideas and really not be very personal. They can be rebels without a cause that destroy in order just to obtain a sense of freedom. There can be a strong rebellious nature. They can play it so cool they have no close friends. They can be superior in their intelligence because they are a very intelligent sign. They can be strange. They can feel like they don't fit in this world. They can feel like a misfit and a know-it-all and act as if they need no one. So let's keep the Aquarius vibe on the at best side by realizing we're community building at this time. And one of the questions you may ask yourself is, how do I define community? The word unity is in the word, to commune in unity, community. And so, what is your social responsibility? This is another good question as we enter Aquarius time. And so, there's this fresh ideas from the quantum field that are upon us. And I always think of the quantum field, kind of like that movie Jodie Foster was in, Contact, where when she goes through and she's to the other side and she touches it and pokes her finger in it. And there's her father as a projection of something she can relate to. So can we poke our finger into the quantum field and find out what's possible just through our intention and through our ideas to, maybe something will come, maybe something won't come, but how will we find out unless we poke around, unless we communicate, unless we connect? And that grounded, present reality will appear if we participate and we show up and we poke around and find out what's possible. And when the door opens and we walk through it, all kinds of new things happen. And when the door is still shut, when we poke, then we take that as information and say, okay, I'm not going down that road. And so, this is where astrology can be so helpful. So let's just look at some of the other planets that are also in Aquarius right now. Jupiter usually stays in one sign for a year, but during 2021, it does go into Pisces for 2.5 months. And I'm going to share with you at the end a little page that you can email me to get about these dates of these influences. But from May 13th through July 28th, Jupiter will leave Aquarius and go into the next sign, into Pisces. And that water sign will bring some relief from all of this kind of exciting mental activity that the air signs bring us. And Pisces is a devotion sign that is about music, that is about, a spiritual letting go and surrendering. And so we can look forward to that 2.5 months. Saturn will stay in Aquarius until May of 2023. And if you were born in 1991, 1992, 1962, 1963, or even earlier, like 1932. You are in a Saturn return cycle right now because Saturn is coming back every 29 years to where it was when you were born. And that Saturn return cycle can give you a new grounded perspective for the next 29 years. So the people born in 91, 92 are having their first Saturn return and they're 29 or around there. The people that are born in 62, 63, they're in their late 50s. And then the third Saturn return is for those that are in their late 80s. If they're still here, they get another round to restructure their life because Saturn has to do with structures and discipline and coming into the maturity of what is being asked. And each of one of those Saturn returns is very different, but that's where an individual reading can be really helpful. Now, Mercury, the planet that rules communication and the mind, it is in a long retrograde, well, 3 weeks, but it went into Aquarius on January 8th, and it will stay there until March 15th because of this 3-week retrograde. That's a very long time for Mercury to be in the sign of Aquarius, where it normally stays in one sign for 3 weeks. It's staying here for more than a couple months. And it is, retrogrades aren't anything to be afraid of. We don't be like Chicken Little, the sky's falling, Mercury's retrograde, it's just a matter of slowing down. And the hyphen rethink, redo, review, read, and slow down enough to notice, how does your mind work? It's Aquarius. Who are your friends? How do you like to communicate? What are your communities? These are all the ways that you want to use this Mercury retrograde. And if you need to travel, if you need to sign documents, just read and go slow and make sure what you're signing is what you agree to and that you're on board with it. So, retrograde is a period of just review. And by slowing down and thinking things through, it can make it so it's not such a challenging time. But also, depending on your natal birth chart, it may impact you differently than other people. So not everyone experiences a retrograde the same way. People who are born during a Mercury retrograde cycle have an easier time during the retrogrades. People who are introverted probably have an easier time. So that retrograde will last until February 20th, till the 20th of this month. And then there's a shadow period, it will come out. And then it will finally go into Pisces on March 15th. And 2 days prior to that, we have this beautiful aspect happening where Venus, the planet of love and relationships, meets up with Neptune. The higher octave of Venus is Neptune. And these two spiritual, relational planets in Pisces, in this loving surrender sign, meet up right before Mercury, the mind and communication, move into Pisces. And so Pisces time, Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. Virgo is all about efforting, making it better, details. Pisces is let it go, have faith. You can do some efforting, but you've got to know when to let go, when to play the music, when to dance, when to just trust and have that faith. So they work together. All the opposite signs of the zodiac are the medicine for one another to bring the balance back into the middle, the midpoint. So now the other really big thing going on in 2021 is that we have a big square, a 90-degree angle going on between these Aquarian energies, between Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, and between the planet Uranus, which is the awakener, in the sign of Taurus. And right now Mars is there And Mars went into Taurus the day of the insurrection on January 6th and joined. So here's the masculine principle of I'm going to do something. And it meets up with Uranus, who says, it's very unpredictable. It's pretty wild. It's the wild card planet. And so the masculine principle meets up with Uranus on that day. And Mars will stay in Taurus until March 3rd, and it will go into Gemini at that point. It's now at 13 degrees. Each sign has 30 degrees. So these degrees just tell us if it's at 0 or at the start, and we're going all the way to 29 degrees, and then it moves into the next sign. Uranus, will be in the sign of Taurus because it's further out in our solar system, and it will stay there until 2025. It stays in one sign for 7 years. And so what is going on with this energy of this awakening in the sign of Taurus? Taurus is the body, our own body, the earth, and its physical abundance of the mother. And the awakener planet Uranus is saying, wake up to the earth and its needs, the mother. Wake up to your own body and its needs. Slow down. There's a devotional quality to Taurus in its rest and in its receiving of nurturance, of comfort. And so there is, this need to be connected to our senses and to our body, to heal ourselves and to pay attention. And the pandemic has forced all of us inward, forced us into our homes and into looking at what are we doing to take care of ourselves. Throughout the year, there will be this 90-degree square, and it's particular between Saturn, who is father time, this sort of old man that says, what people think and society and the external environment matter. And Uranus squaring that is saying, it doesn't matter. We need to awaken consciousness. We need to be very awake and not try to follow rules that no longer bring life, no longer serve the people. And so this square that is on February 17th exact, June 14th, and then again at the end of the year on December 23rd is a big deal. So I'm gonna bring up cards again just to kind of show you what this looks like visually. I'm a visual learner, I'm a hands-on learner. That's why I created these cards in my Vesta Mystery School. So let's just look. Here's the planets right now in Aquarius, and Saturn is the god of manifestation. It's about self-discipline and patience. And conscious expression of Saturn is about restraint and acceptance of limitations in order to mature and become responsible. Unconsciously, though, it can be inhibited, disappointed, with too much control and unwillingness to accept limitations, causing depression. Again, it's a contractive energy. Jupiter, on the other hand, the largest planet in our solar system, is the god of expansion and learning. And so this is an expander. So we have the contraction and the expansion, the pulse of life here with these two in Aquarius. Conscious expression of Jupiter with expansion and learning is about opportunities and exploring and understanding and having optimism and enthusiasm. It's the teacher, it's the guru, it's the teachings. Unconscious expressions can be overindulgence and extravagance with excessive spending tendencies and restlessness. Now, Aquarius can be a restless sign. And so if someone's overly authoritative, if somebody's overly optimistic, kind of rose-colored glasses, these energies can play out with Aquarius in a pretty rebellious way because Aquarius is a fixed sign, and fixed signs are pretty certain about how they see things. Their perspectives are meant to be steady. And yet Aquarius is always looking at the quantum field and wanting to experiment. And so that's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to now show the other energy, which is the square to Uranus, and right now Mars is there. And this will be for the February 17th first square for sure here. So Uranus, the god of awakening, is consciously expressing itself as liberation from past limitations, capacity for freedom and independence, electrifying change. And unconsciously, though, it can be very eccentric and irresponsible with its ideas and actions, very unpredictable and rebellious, creating chaos. Think of this as a lightning bolt that is trying to break up stagnant energy. And its job is to awaken it, but there does need to be grounding. There does need to be values and a sense of sustainability for that awakening to happen. Going back into the root chakra, safety, family, tribe. And here's Mars, the god of action. And Mars is about courage to act on our desires. And consciously, it expresses itself as being assertive and initiating energetic action, decisive originality and independence. And I loved your reading, Pasha, about initiating change and taking our own path, because Aquarius is really all about being unique and finding our own path. But Mars on a bad day, on a stress day, is aggressive, coarse, easily upset, selfish, forceful, headstrong, and dominates. And so, you know, this is these two energies that are squaring one another, trying to create some change for the benefit of all of us. How do we find our midpoint and our balance point so that we can work with these energies in a grounded way and really contribute to the collective? Awaken, take better care of our bodies, notice, get better care of the earth, and community build, communicate, not in a codependent way, but in a way that, you know, honors the independence. Aquarius is a very independent sign, and it honors people who really want to have more of a, maybe not aloof, but more of a sense of freedom in relationship and not being always so intimate and close, honoring the ways that we communicate and understanding the uniqueness of each of us. So you take that into account with another piece, which is the planet Neptune in its own sign, Pisces. And that's a beautiful energy going on. And Neptune stays in one sign for 14 years. So it will stay in Pisces for quite a while. It is making a square to what we call the North and South Node right now. And the South Node is the way of the past. It's kind of like the well-worn path saying, well, let's do that. That always works. That's reliable. And that's in Sagittarius. We need to find the truth. We need to take the high road. We need to have that spiritual understanding. But on a bad day, Sagittarius can be super self-righteous and be very much into it's just the truth. It's the absolute truth, and not have a lot of room for subjective truth and what people are feeling in the moment that is their truth. So where's the North Node? The North Node is now in Gemini. And what's Gemini about? Let's get to know each other. Let's make friends. Let's be light like a butterfly. Let's just gather information and learn about our environments, learn about one another. Ask people, wow, what's going on with you? What's that like? Look at people that are different than us and find out how they think by asking good, curious questions. You know, Gemini is a wonderful sign to just network, and like those connect the dot pictures as a kid that you used to do, just go A to B, C to D, and then you can't even see the big picture until you connect them. That's what your network of friends is like. We connect with each other to see the big picture, the Aquarius big picture. And sometimes our efforts the quantum field opens and something magnificent manifests, and sometimes it points us in some other direction. So how can we just kind of be curious and get in there and find out why someone's hurting, why someone's shut down, why somebody's excited, what's motivating them, and get to know each other a little better. And one of my goals with astrology is to just have more astral conversations. Find out whose sun is in a fire sign. They're going to be fired up. They're going to help you get fired up. Find out who's a water sign. They're your emotional friends that are going to be good at listening to your emotional stuff. Your earth friends, they're going to be the grounded ones to help you kind of look at the dailies. What's the functionality of daily life? And your air sign friends are going to be the thinkers and the communicators, and they're good to have interesting talks with. So the more we find out, just without going down the rabbit hole in astrology too far, just what someone's sun sign is, and noticing what the exchange of energy is between your sun sign and their sun sign. Begin to just witness the friendship in its natural state. Natural law is what astrology is all about. And the more that we just make it simple and not try to go so complexly and deeply into it. Yes, know your moon sign, know your rising sign. If you just memorize those three things and have more astro conversations, we're building the Aquarian community. We're stepping into the Aquarian age. So if we want our dreams to come to fruition, we have to get off the high horse of our idealism and get to know one another in a whole new way, and asking questions to find out, not having to match one another in order for that root chakra to feel safe. Like, here's what we believe. The Aquarian age won't come around if we all have to agree upon those things. We really need to learn respect for all the differences and give a lot of space for that. So important. In Vesta Mystery School, Vesta is an asteroid goddess that is the temple priestess. She's in a predominant position in my astrology chart, and that's why I named my mystery school after her. But there are other asteroids, Juno, for instance, who is the goddess of marriage. And she's now with the South Node in Sagittarius, and we see a lot of wives, a lot of women influencing the men in their lives. This is a positive way that the feminine asteroids are playing out. Vesta is now opposite of Neptune in Virgo, trying to help us understand, how to get more practical and realistic about our relationships. So I guess the last thing that I really want to share here before I bring up a PDF of kind of the overview of certain dates for the year is just about some new beginnings when Pluto does finally in 2023 leave Capricorn and go into Aquarius. Woohoo! That's when some big things will be changing. That's in March 23rd of 2023. And that may seem like a ways away, but this whole idea that, we're in the Aquarian age because of December 21st, 2020, I don't see it that way. This is a slow walk, and we're still in the dawning. I don't know if the sun is rose yet on the age of Aquarius, but there is new beginnings all the time astrologically. And that March of 2023 is a big one, as well as February of 2022. But let's go into the rest of this year, and I'll bring up this PDF, share that screen. Anybody who is watching this, if you email me, I will email this back to you. We have just 2 eclipses in 2021. On May 26th, there's a total full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. The lunar eclipses are always on full moon. And here is, what is your truth? On June 10th, we've got a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. Are you listening? And so we always have a lunar and solar together. So this full moon is followed by a new moon, and that is one eclipse season this year. And the eclipse seasons are big turning points of the year where the energy really shifts. So we want to look at that, put those dates down in our book. Then the second eclipse, November 19th, is a partial full moon lunar eclipse in Gemini. Again, instead of solar eclipse, this is lunar eclipse in Gemini. Commit to getting to know others that are not like you. And then December 4th, the new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Let the truth shine. So all of these eclipses, as you can see, are in Sag and Gemini, and that's because the eclipses happened when the sun and moon cross over where the north and south nodes are. Whatever sign the nodes are in, that's what sign the eclipses will be in. All of our Mercury retrogrades this year will be in air signs. We're in one right now from January 30th till February 20th. It's in Aquarius. The next one will be May 29th through June 22nd in Gemini. And then the final one, whoops, I gotta change my spelling here, is September 26th through October 18th in Libra. So communicating and listening, if you don't know counsel practice, it's a great time to learn it. I'm happy to share what counsel is if you contact me. It's a wonderful way to communicate and listen with others that we care about. Other important dates, these squares between Uranus and Saturn I was talking about, February 17th, June 14th, December 23rd. Venus and Neptune meet in Pisces on March 13th. Jupiter goes into Pisces May 13th to July 28th. And then we have this wonderful summer aspect going on where Venus and Mars meet up in the fire sign of Leo from June 26th to July 22nd. And that will be fun. That will be romantic, and that will be a playful time. And I'm hoping that the pandemic slows down enough that that's an indication of a lifting of energy. Leo is a party sign, and the summer is always a fun time to get outdoors and have a little more fun. And so with Venus and Mars, the feminine and masculine planets of the zodiac, going into that fun sign of Leo, let's hope that the summertime brings us some fun relief. So with that, I think I'm probably within my time. And I don't know if there's any questions, or if you want to, Stephen, go into your part right now.
Yes, that was amazing, informative, and it sounds like you really do know your stuff when it comes to astrology and the connection with the spiritual world.
Thank you.
But is there anything else you'd like to say about what you offer, your classes, your cards, and where people
Sure.
get them?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So the Zodiac cards, they're color coded by element, and I sell these on my website, just the cards alone for the Zodiac signs, and that have that best and when stressed. I also sell the whole deck, which has all the planetary cards and then the houses. And so there's 43, and you can buy the whole set or just the Zodiac. And then my classes, there's a self-study class that's only $149 where you get the Vesta Mystery School workbook. And the workbook is an 86-page fill-in workbook that is also a coloring book. And it's got a wonderful artist named Lydia Hess, whose artwork you can, comes in black and white, and then you can color it to really embody the zodiac of your own chart. The workbook has pages where you lay the cards out and you interpret your chart. February 12th, which is, oh, I did forget to mention that we have the Lunar New Year. So we always have 3 chances for a new year. We've got January 1st. We've got the second new moon, which is always in Aquarius, and that is the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, which is on February 11th. And I'm starting my next Zoom 10-week course on the 12th, a Friday morning class from 10 till 12. And then you get a third chance for a new year on March 20th at spring equinox, when the sun goes into Aries. And so we've got all kinds of ways to restart our year. The 10-week class also comes with this beautiful moon journal from Greece, and it has journaling for each new moon and full moon with wonderful questions that you can answer to tune into the lunar energies, which have to do with really helping us embody the divine feminine and bringing that balance in so we can break out of our own inner patriarchal kind of ways of being. And so the LFA journal is a part of that 10-week course. I make small classroom settings on Zoom, only 6 students. So there's just a couple spots left for that class. And it's a deep sharing class. I hold a lot of space for people to not only learn astrology, but get a safe space to share their feelings.
And what's the easiest way for people to contact you, like the website?
You can go to my website, vestamysteryschool.com. You can also, if you sign up on there, there's 3 free gifts. You get the healing response to the zodiac, you get a chakra healing affirmation, and then also a PDF on the asteroid goddesses and who they are. And then if you email me from there, I can send you, I'm happy to share with you those influences for 2021. You can also email me at Kauakea, Kauakea @gmail.com. On my website, there's a Calendly link for having a reading. I only charge $89 for my readings. They're 1 hour on Zoom and they're recorded. And I also offer chakra cards and energy healings distance. It's all on that Vesta Mystery School website.
Well, thanks again. We're lucky to have you.